been discussing on this episode is the idea that there have been so many headlines in the news recently discussing men who are killing their girlfriends, killing their wives, abuse, and all of that, and kind of wrapped around the idea that there's a crisis of masculinity. Do you think we are currently experiencing a crisis of masculinity?
By all means, their masculinity is being mistaken for assertiveness, aggressiveness, and bullying. But I also think that there's a crisis in us stepping and living in our femininity, you know, so, you know, and why? Well, when I got to wear the pants for so many years, I don't know how to put the dress back on, you know what I mean? So it could go in many different directions. So I think that there's no silo crisis.
Yeah.
I think that we don't live independent of experiences. We live interdependent.
Okay.
So one crisis, you know, it's almost like when you hurt your right knee and all of a sudden your left hip is hurting because you're compensating it. Yeah. Short answer, yes, I do. I believe that what we call masculine, what we call man, what we call being a man, has greatly changed since our fathers and our fathers' fathers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what it means. And so, yeah, I think that we are in a crisis in that way. I think we're also in a crisis of what it means to be a young woman.
And a lot of, you know, pieces and discussions that are happening on the internet are saying men are lashing out because women are excelling in society or becoming more equal, and they don't know how to handle it, in a sense. Do you think it's that simple, or is that a part of the puzzle?
So, yeah, it's difficult. We are difficult. We can be a challenge to digest. You are a lot. I am a lot. And we didn't come with instructions on how to best digest this meal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when we find our voice, and it took me a long time to just accept I'm a lot. And not in the ego way.
Yeah.
Not in the ego way. I don't say it like that at all. I just say, well, God, you know, you a lot. And not in a bad way.
Yeah.
It's not me beating Lisa up or not me grandizing Lisa. It's just the fact. When we just sit inside truth, and don't try to make it good or bad, we inject so much emotion in truth, and truth is not emotional. Truth is truth, right? Yes. Like you said, that's truth, right? It's true. It's just truth. It's like this is solid, and that's just true. You don't have to be mad about it. Water is wet. Don't get mad about it. So we are a lot. We are a lot, and when we own and when we discover and own, find and use our voice, not only can it be a lot to handle. Now, I can get beat up for this, but heck, you know, I'm a sister. We can sometimes scream when all we need to do is whisper. Because so long we haven't had the voice.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, hold on, you can hear this? You can hear this? This is going to cause you to respond. I've been holding on to this voice for a long time. And then we, in our powerfulness, we just want to show the power when we may not. I'm not saying in every chance. And I know I might frustrate some people, I might anger some people, but you know, I'm here for the dialogue.
Yeah.
We don't say, hold on. Not only do I want to be responsible for how I speak this truth, but I want to step over here and see how does it sound when it lands before I speak it. Yeah. A lot of times we're analyzing it, but it's too late. Yeah. We already said it. So yeah, it's hard.
No, what would be first steps, I guess, as a parent, you know, and just making sure your son can kind of handle, I guess, the environment we're in now.
Yeah. So number one is, how do I as a parent become emotionally healthy? Because you can only teach what you know.
Yeah.
Right? So the responsibility lies with you. And then number two, as an adult, how do we become emotionally healthy? Because in emotional healthiness, it's when you set healthy boundaries. I was in an abusive relationship, and not a lot of people know it, but I did write about it in one of my books. I was in an abusive relationship, and I didn't know how I got there. I didn't fit the bill of someone who would get there. Yeah. But I was there. My fiance at the time picked me up and threw me 3 feet across the room.
Oh my God.
And he choked me until I passed out. And at the very moment when it happened, I had to make some decisions. And I didn't leave him initially because I knew if I left him, one of us would die. Because I could then see I was in a danger because he thought he loved me so much, right? And so then my emotional intelligence had to kick in. And I had to live in response and strategy versus reaction and fear. Yeah. And so if you're in a place where you realize I'm not emotionally healthy enough to do it, then I'm going to say jump into self-development. Okay. I don't say that because I'm biased to it because I'm a teacher, and I'm saying it because it saved my life. Jump into self-development. Don't be so afraid of your shadow. that you never let your light shine.
You know, when people talk about toxic masculinity, the idea of, you know, fathers teach their sons to be the same way they are.
Yes.
And then boys and men get around other men who are just like them.
Cosign.
You know, how do you kind of, or what are the tools really for kind of breaking that cycle? And
a woman can teach a man how to be a good human being. But a man needs to see a good man to know how to be a good man. Okay. So, and I say that from a mother who raised a son. The smartest thing I could do was to recognize that I can't teach my son how to be a man. I can teach my son how to be a good human being. And then I can be smart enough and humble enough to find good men with good standards and good value and open my mouth. I asked. I didn't just kind of have them kind of be around him. I said, excuse me, excuse me. I have a son who I want to be an amazing man. You, in my opinion, are an amazing man. Could I ask you to invest time with my son and tell me what that needs to look like and tell me what I need to do, and I'm willing to do that. I didn't do it with a lot of men, and I didn't do it with anybody I was dating.
Smart, right? Exactly.
Even if they were a good man, because that's seasonal. So I did it with men who were steady in my life or who stepped up to become steady in my life platonically, as a father figure. My dad stepped in, and so I found men